This time around, we're going to take a look at a fairly simple way, but hopefully fairly effective way to change the face of someone in a photograph. Here's a picture I took while I was in Miami for Photoshop World with a model named Anna Maria. And I really love the way the water splashing on her legs, but her face, she's a little on the serious side. If I zoom in a bit, you can see it's still kind of nice, but I took some other shots, including this one. Let me move this out of the way. And I like her expression in this one a whole lot more. Unfortunately, it's going to be a bit of a challenge because, of course, she's not facing exactly the same direction or anything. But we can hopefully make it work. So I just made a very rough selection, and we'll drag and drop it over. Move this out of the way so we can keep working from now on this image. And let's zoom in a little closer here so we can see what we're doing. Okay. So basically, of course, we want to try to make her face match here. Now, one of the things that we're going to have to do, of course, is to free transform it. So I'll press Command or Control T for free transform and start to do things like rotate it and so on. Now, one of the things that Matt showed in a movie fairly recently was even though you've already started free transform, you can actually lower the opacity down a little bit of this layer, and that can kind of help you when it comes time to matching things up. So I'm just going to put it kind of roughly into position and try to look at rotating. Now, sometimes physically it doesn't make sense because your person might be facing the same way, but it's not a bad idea to try doing a little flip. Here I'm just control or right-clicking and choosing flip horizontal. I think that looks to me like it's matching up a little better. And really, I'm going to tell you, all I'm going to try to do here is match up her eyes and her smile, as you'll see. So I think that looks pretty good for now. If I put the opacity back, it's not bad. You can see it's a little off. I think I just might use my move tool and the arrow keys and just nudge a little bit. And all I'm doing is showing and hiding, seeing if it's looking like it's kind of matching up fairly well. Now, of course, one of the problems I'm going to face normally is look at the difference in the shadow. In this case, because I flipped it, now this is the dark side of her face, whereas in the original it was this side. But that's okay, because really, remember, all I'm going to do is her eyes and her mouth. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to add a layer mask, but first hold down Option or Alt. When I click on the Add Layer Mask button, that adds a layer mask in black, which means the entire layer is hidden. Now all I have to do is take my brush tool with white as my foreground color and just basically start to paint to reveal the layer. And you can see here I'm just basically revealing her eyes and her smile. Just like that. Now, the chances are, as in this case, it might be a little bit off. So if you just unlink the two layers, or I should say the layer and the layer mask, and then click on the layer, once again with the move tool, I can just do a little bit of nudging into place. That looks pretty good. I think the only other thing I would do is see if I couldn't just paint in her brow. That's a little bit off there, but basically see her brow's just a little wrinkled from her sort of serious expression, so that's something I might have to tweak a little bit later. But look at how easy that was, and I think it looks pretty effective actually, considering her eyes are actually a little more open now. She's got a nicer smile. If we zoom back out to the smaller view, looks pretty good. I think that'll fit the bill, and really the biggest challenge was trying to, instead of trying to match her whole face up, is we just worried about the parts that we were trying to change, which in this case was her eyes and her mouth. Of course, that's one of the great parts of Photoshop, is the ability to change someone's face, make minor tweaks, or even put yourself into the picture if you really want to. Sorry, that's just strange. I'm Dave Cross. We'll see you next time.